to talk about intelligence issues, he can be judged according to what he has said, what's on his to-do list. And if in the first month, 2 or 3, there's no progress there, or he does it in a way that's problematic, then you can say, look, you know, he's obviously not sticking to what he said, and he's probably being influenced by these other folks. But at the same time, if he makes good on some of that stuff, and even, you know, I think, you know, if he were smart, he'd try to bring John McCain or other people, some Republicans, into that effort to have a bipartisan push to get rid of Guantanamo. That would send a tremendous signal, I think, to the rest of the world. That's an issue that's both symbolic and real. It's real to the hundreds of people who are there, and it's real to the people who have, you know, who have been involved with, you know, from the American side in what goes on down there, who have felt terrible about it. The whistleblowers who you've had on your show and we've talked to. And of course, it's highly symbolic. So I mean, I am always guarded. I am not Pollyannish about anybody, be they Democrat or Republican. But you know, I do think that he said some, you know, pretty swell things during the campaign, and he set the bar high, and he set a measure against which he can be judged.
Jeremy, your last response on this, and also respond how you identified yourself at the end of this alternate.org piece. This is Change. Jeremy Scahill pledges to be the same journalist under an Obama administration that he was during Bill Clinton and George Bush's presidencies.
Right. I mean, I think, you know, I pay very close attention to what the independent media are saying and what bloggers and others are saying. And I think what a sort of disturbing trend is that we have sort of blue state Fox emerging, where people are, you know, sort of treating Obama in a different way than they would treat Bush or anyone else in power. And I think, you know, remember when Bush first took power, there was a tremendous outcry over all of these old Reagan hands that were being brought back in, and the neoconservatives and others. I mean, I think the time is now to call the question on the involvement of some of these people, that this is the precise moment when this kind of journalism matters, when we have to remind people of the history and the previous policies implemented by the people that are at the center of Obama's foreign policy team right now, because we're going to be living with these people for the next 4 years running the show. And I think it's incredibly important to be all over this right now before they're named.
It would be hard to find information, to find people who did not work in the Clinton administration with federal government experience?
Well, first of all, you have over 120 members of the House of Representatives who had the foresight to actually vote against the war, and you had 23 U.S. senators who voted against the war, and you have Russ Feingold, who voted against the USA Patriot Act, and you have former CIA analysts like Mel Goodman and Ray McGovern, who should be consulted and asked who they think should be running Central Intelligence and be the director of national intelligence. I mean, remember, Amy, that almost all these people have been on the show. The Obama campaign should look back at Democracy Now!'s archives to find all of these people who were very credible, who actually have been right about U.S. foreign policy, bring them into the fold.
Well, I want to thank you both for being with us. Jeremy Scahill's latest piece appears at alternate.org called This Is Change, and David Korn, Washington bureau chief of Mother Jones magazine, who writes The Agents of Change on Obama's transition team at Mother Jones' website. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. When we come back, we'll be joined by a Texas DA. He's indicted the vice president, Dick Cheney, and the former attorney general, Alberto Gonzales. Stay with us.
Come, you masters of war, you that build the big guns,